There was a debate in the Talmud. That's not a surprise to any of you. There's always a debate when it comes to Jews. And the debate was between Rabbi Akiva and Ben Azai. And the question was, what is the most fundamental verse in the Torah? You're probably familiar with this debate. Rabbi Akiva says what? Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. The absolute most fundamental verse in the Torah is, you shall love your fellow as you love yourself. Ben Azai takes a different approach. He says, this is the book of generations of Adam. On the day that God created humans, God made humans in God's image. Now, it would be for an interesting class, not here in this moment, to discuss the difference between those two, how they complement one another, how they both teach us fundamental principles of what it means to be a Jewish person. Number one, that we must not just enjoy each other's company, but learn to love another, even if that other disagrees with us. Even if that other holds positions that are so very different, diametrically opposed to the positions that we must hold, or we may hold. And Ben Azai teaches us, why is it that we must love the other? Because we're all created in the image of God. Each and every human being has a spark of the divine. Bless you. They don't discuss here when the beginning of life begins. That's not this discussion, but it is certainly a discussion in the Talmud. The rabbis wrestle with that question over and over and over again because they hold so fundamentally to life that is our obligation to live. And they come to the realization that the life of a woman who is living and breathing takes precedence over the potential life of a fetus. And that's not to say they take lightly the notion, the idea, the possibility of aborting, but they allow it. Our tradition allows it. Not in every circumstance, not across the board, not simply as a reason not to have a child. But in the case when a woman's life is in danger, a woman's life takes precedence over another. And today the Supreme Court took that right away from so many. And Judaism stands in stark contrast to that position and those views. And this moment demands that we share with this country our views and our position as Jews, and engage in the dialogue, in the debate, in the conversation. It's ironic, isn't it, that the night that we celebrate and recognize the women of this congregation for the incredible work that sisterhood does day after day and year after year, that was created as a response to the lack of rights by women for too long in our tradition. That sisterhoods exist today, even though there is equality. But is there? Whose right is it to make a decision for a woman and her body? Whose right is it? It is her right. And sisterhoods around the country exist to remind us of women's rights. It is ironic that we celebrate the women of this congregation this evening when today such a dangerous and historic decision was made by our Supreme Court. We hope and pray that the women of this country, regardless of race, of gender, of nationality, of wealth or not, have the right to choose for themselves how they are going to live in this world with that potential life that is growing inside of them. It's strange to have to switch from something so devastatingly challenging to our country to something so important and uplifting in this moment, to recognize the women of sisterhood who have led this community for the last years. But we would be remiss if we didn't do that. And in fact, in doing that, we can remember the important role that they play, that you must continue to play, not just for our congregation this evening, but for all of the women of this country.